Welcome to the 8 Billion Project, where we're on a mission to make an impact by discovering and sharing the purpose of every person on this planet. I'm your host, Lisa Florida. Enjoy today's episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 8 Billion Podcast. I am your host, Lisa Florida, and today we have a special guest. She is a certified medium and spiritual teacher and a spiritual mentor. She has helped over 10,000 people connect with their intuition and spirit guides to align with their life purpose and live in abundance. She's the founder of a six-figure business, Messenger of Spirit, and offers students a variety of courses, including her signature 12-week program, the Intuition Abundance Academy. Welcome, Whitney McNeill, to the 8 Billion Podcast. How are you doing?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. I've got the windows, like I can see outside and see the nature. And I feel really excited to be here with all this energy today.
Yeah, no, we were just talking about it. And since we talk about everything on the podcast, I was just telling Whitney that I've gone back to back. This is my last day of recording. Of course, that doesn't mean that you're going to close out the season with Whitney. This could be anywhere in between, because I'm trying to figure out the sequence after. But I was telling Whitney that we're going through a heat wave here in Southern California, and I have these lights beaming on me. And of course, I was like, oh, it's getting so hot. So Whitney was so kind to let me take a quick break to get my fan, so then we could record this. But Whitney's been amazing sharing her energy with me. So.
Oh, that's so sweet. I mean, I think it's really important to stay cool. Like when I'm not cool, I really can't seem to function. So absolutely taking that. And I love, like, even if you can't go outside in nature, especially in a heat wave, you might not want to, just seeing outside, just so inspiring to me. So I always like to open up my windows really wide. And even if I have all the fans going on, it's just so nice to kind of feel that calm and connected energy, especially when you work with spirit all day. I think we've got to have that groundedness to kind of come back into that 3D world and really find a way to be that electrical wire where we are finding our space. So I always like to say, an electrical wire has to be grounded, or it's going to just kind of wreak havoc. So finding something there that feels really feeling that groundedness.
No, absolutely. And the next question I was just going to ask you, it's definitely key that you ground, because I'm wondering if you have been, or how you've been dealing with the energetic shifts that have been happening lately. And I'm pretty sure you've been getting a lot of either new clients or your clients are coming to you. Like, what is going on, Whitney?
I will tell you, this is a crazy moment. So the other day I was I was in bed, but I was up past 4:37 a.m. Like, what in the world? I mean, I felt like I was vibrating. My whole energy body was vibrating. And I thought, all right. And so I went through all the things I needed to do, do deep breaths, talking to my guides, trying to ground. And it was just this place of feeling energetically wired, just like we were talking about, actually. Yeah. So it's about taking care of yourself as best you can. And I really spent the next day just listening to my body and seeing what I needed. And I felt that food was really helpful with these energy shifts going on, and finding like what intuitively I need. But for me, it ended up being a lot of fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. And today I feel great. Yes. Yesterday was like, oh, don't feel so great, but I'm going to just listen to my soul. I went to bed early. And then today it's like, all right, we can do this. So I think that's really important, is how are we treating ourselves through all these energetic shifts going on? And, because our body has to kind of deal with it.
Yeah. And the energies have been super, at least for my end and everyone that I'm circulating with, between the sisterhood in my mastermind, or everyone that's, on this spiritual journey. I mean, for us, we really felt it right after spring equinox. And I'm not too sure if you're starting to feel that, but I know that everyone was saying they're having everything from physical pain, dizziness, all of that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And then you're purging all of that. And then you're trying to take the holistic route by not taking like either Advil or Tylenol. And then on that, right after that, they'll have these ascension shifts. And that's exactly what I was feeling. I would have like really like painful, like body pain. And then from there I would shift. And then there was just this huge clarity in ascension, or like huge clarity of consciousness or up leveling. So it's been really interesting. I was just wondering if, yeah, like what you're saying, you just have to listen to your body.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because I feel like my cycle, my personal cycle of energy is kind of in sync with that. I had surgery back in February. So I was still kind of going through after the equinox of this place of rest. And in a way, it's a blessing where I was able to just sit and rest with getting all these energy shifts around. And I think that was part of my process, but I have felt the energy start to pick up even more in a good way though, as far as, you know, when you're on a roller coaster and you're kind of dipping down and then all of a sudden you're getting ready to climb up the hill. I feel like we're climbing up the hill. Like, all right, you know, we're on this runway, we're headed somewhere. Things are starting to clear out and it feels really good now, but definitely the dizziness, and that's continued. It's, for me, I feel like there's a lot of the veil is really thin, if you want to say that. And sometimes it's almost like, wait a minute, which reality am I in? Like, what's going on? It's this weird kind of place where you get lost almost in a dream kind of world in a way. And it's actually not a dream world. It's like this world. And it's just really feeling spirit a lot closer to you is a way I could experience it or say it. And it's definitely with a dizziness. Like sometimes my eyes get a little blurry and I'm like, what's going on here?
Oh, for
to
sure.
really ground myself. Yeah.
For sure. I even noticed that when, if I didn't experience that, it was like the heightened frequency, energetic frequency, for some people, they'll think that it's vision changes, or their eyes are getting blurry. But if you're more than likely listening to this podcast, you're on a journey. And so sometimes if you do feel like your eyes getting a little bit blurry, it could be because your energy, you're ascending in your energy. And that's why your vision can get blurred, so to speak. I don't even know. But
100%.
You're absolutely right. The veil is very thin. People are ascending into 5D. I found it so interesting that I recorded the 3 weeks that this huge ascension and these portals were really like open, and then the energies were really potent. It was just really insane for me. And then on top of that, going through the physical, symptoms of it.
Absolutely. But such a great place to help other people and help open, like to kind of bring an understanding of what the heck's going on. Because there's people out there kind of wondering what is happening here. And we were talking about the eyes being blurry. And with that too, there's this symptom of your clairvoyance opening up even more fully as well. And really seeing what has been previously unseen in many ways. So it's like with the unseen, we think of the spirit world, but also the unseen being things in your life that you've perhaps put on the back burner, or things that aren't supporting you anymore. And it's like, oh, it's time to actually look at this. And I've had some really great revelations and aha moments that just happen kind of out of nowhere, so to speak. And it helps kind of move some blocks that you don't even know are there. And I think we're having a lot of dreams too, a lot of dreaming, some wild dreams, even where we're able to release blocks that have been kind of holding us back for several years coming up to the surface. And I always ask my spirit guides before I go to bed, hey, do you want to take me on an astral travel? I welcome that journey. And boy, I've been going in many different places to just experience things, to learn things, to meet people, especially those things that, I think about, like, how's this going to happen? Or, I wonder about XYZ. And then all of a sudden I'm in the astral plane learning about that. So it's been a beautiful journey over these last couple of weeks too. And I look forward to seeing how this is just going to continue to evolve, you know?
Me too, because they're saying that once the shift well, it's already happening and it's in motion for everyone. It just depends on where you're at in your journey. And so
Yeah.
even for myself though, Whitney, you're absolutely right. They could be subtle. Like of course, you're thinking like I'm conscious, I'm aware, I've done a lot of work. I know that it's going to be never ending for this life. But there were some things that were just so subtle. And then it's just like these big aha moments. And you're just like, wow, I did not even know I was functioning that way.
Absolutely. It's this big wake up call, I think, for a lot of people. And like you said, it depends on where we are on our journey and what's going on in our life as to what exactly that aha moment is going to be about. And also what perhaps we may shift and change. Sometimes for people, it's things are literally pivoting, and this can look real world, tangible, like jobs or relationships or where we're living and things of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can also, only thinking about it a different way, new opportunities opening up too. So sometimes we get stuck on, oh, wait a minute, I'm having those aha moments about this stuff going on in my life, but also all these new opportunities are coming in. And I was just talking to somebody the other day and they were saying, oh my gosh, so much is happening right now. Like the last couple of weeks, she basically was like, I have an aha moment about my purpose. And now she feels like it's the freight train. Like I'm on this train and, my spirit guides are telling me, yeah, just like I've got like, all of a sudden I've got all these clients coming in and I've talked to my spirit guides and I've got like these new offers and I just don't have enough time in the day.
Yes.
So it's all like flooding in at that time.
It's literally flooding in. And then I was even talking about this with another podcast guest. She goes, you'll have these moments of clarity and you get these inspirational hits. And then before you know it, you think that you have your business plan and your program set. And then there's another wave of ascension. It's just, yeah. And
I agree.
Yeah. It's been, And then on top of that, I would say that everyone on season 5D are light workers, healers to some capacity in some capacity. And so now we're also holding the light for, and we're holding the frequency for humanity.
Yeah.
And I was just telling my cousin, because she's one of them. I was like, imagine like 1% of people are holding the energetic field for 99% of the world.
Yeah, that's a lot, right?
That's a lot, isn't it?
It is. And that's another reason why it's so important for us to really recharge and make sure we're taking care of ourselves energetically so our light can shine brighter to help others and also holding that space. But I love that you said something, you have this plan. Like I'm putting plan and air quotes here. Because it's all happening for me spontaneously and it's based off of inspiration. And it's changing so fast. So let's just talk about business. I'll have an inspiration, I'll have an idea. And then it's almost like 3 days later, even, or maybe a week or a month, the energy has shifted once again to pivot and make additional changes or more inspiration. And I'm somebody that talks to my spirit guides, but it's like, okay, I got the message. Oh, now we're changing. It's just the energy is shifting so fast. And how do we keep up with it? Right. It's taking care of ourselves and being open.
And that's what they say. And here, I don't know if you might agree with this. There's a gentleman by the name of Phil Good, and I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's really popular on Instagram. So he comes in and he gives like these intuitive hits that he gets from his guides. But he's like saying, okay, guys, we're ascending. And he goes, this is your highest frequency level. He goes, every opportunity is coming at you right now. But he goes, you have to be the quiet observer. Because he goes, if you're the quiet observer right now, he goes, remember, you don't have to choose, because if you choose, you're going to go down that timeline. He goes, it's right now, it's just about observing because everything's moving so fast. So that could be something, because that's how I felt the last 2 weeks. I was just like, I got to get season 5D. Now, where's the marketing? Where's all the pieces? Before next, I was like, okay, I got to go do the documentary. So it's all over the place. And what you think is one thing, and you got your program set, you're like, spirit's like, nope, here you go. Here goes another one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. I think it's nice to be in that place of observing. And, I never want to take action just to take action. It's when I feel this full body inspiration that I'm going to take action. And the great news is I have been sitting like on my butt for months, and I've just been like resting and really getting to that grounded place with my body. And to be honest, I've been wanting to find that feeling of that inspiration. And it's here now. It's here. So I think it was like, I had to wait and rest for so many months before this shift started taking place, so I could prepare my body for it. Because if I hadn't, I think I might've struggled a little bit going through this energy shift.
No, for sure. Because they even say your body knows before you do sometimes. So and then of course your guides were watching over you because they know you're going to get really busy.
Oh yeah, really busy for sure. And I think that's really true. With one of the things I talk about is we all have different intuitive languages. And one of the intuitive language types is a channeler. And the channeler literally gets the messages from the body. And I have a strong channeler language. And that makes a lot of sense, where it's like, I have to listen to my body, even if my mind doesn't get it or doesn't comprehend it. And when you're getting all these opportunities coming in too, I will listen to my body. If my body is heavy or tired or energized and having all this energy, then that's an indication too for me as to, okay, I'm ready for this, or no, I need to sit on my butt and sleep. And you're never wrong when you listen to your body. You're never wrong when you listen to your intuition.
No, is that, for sure. You have to, everything, you're so much more conscious of everything, even down to the small thoughts you're having. And that's what I even noticed though too, Whitney, was my guides were just like, every story you have, this is your opportunity to let it go, because we're going into this different place and those stories no longer serve you.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree. I was just I was in the astral plane, and I had stories coming up from my childhood and when I used to work for a different company. Like, I'm dreaming about this stuff. And I asked my guides today, so funny that we're having this conversation, but this morning I was meeting with my guides and I said, thanks for shedding some light on this, because I keep going back to, why am I dreaming about this? And they're telling me, hey, this is just an old story that we're helping you process. And it's really a block that you can remove. And it's just more of helping you letting it go. Because if it's still in there and we don't know about it, it can't go anywhere. So it's more of like up and be aware and let it go. And for me, it's all about who I used to be before I had this awakening on my light working path. So I'm getting a lot of, that's old Whitney. That's your old stories. Mm-hmm. It's time to truly let that go and fully step into this path. Even though I thought I let it go, it must have been stored somewhere else and I just wasn't aware of it. So it's a beautiful time. And sometimes I think that it's like bits and pieces, or we don't even connect the dots until we have conversations like this.
Yes, it's absolutely that. Like it when you were saying, like it could be just maybe the remaining part of the resonance of the story. Yeah. And then until someone brings it up, you're just like, wow, mine was very subtle too. Or, I thought there was certain things, like I didn't have attachments to certain things. And I was just like, yeah, I'm cool. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have an attachment to it.
I know, right? Yeah. It's like little things that you're going, what do you mean? oh wait, I didn't think that that still existed. Or you're teaching one thing and then you realize that there's a part of your life that you're still in this old story. So it's been a really great opportunity to just let go and to really step into this new energy of who we really are and why we're here. And I think our spirit guides only help us even more with going through and walking through. And I always say it's like embracing the unknown. And we sometimes feel so overwhelmed with all these new opportunities, or we'll feel like, I think I know what my path is, but let's be open to the change because it's happening fast and it's part of your journey. It's the actual trust process, not necessarily where we're headed. It's just being. I think if we can get to that being place and experiencing this energy right now, that's living in that presence, because it can be hard because we want to live in the future.
Exactly.
But it's like really in spirit, there's no past, present, or there's no past, there's no future. It's all now. So it's just this weird place of this transitioning of really understanding that when we're embodying our presence now, that's part of our future, if we want to look at it that way. It's this place I feel like we're standing in. And I don't know if you've ever watched any Doctor Strange movies, but they have like these portals that you open up. And I feel like we're standing in this place and you can like look at the past, you can look at the future, but it's all kind of collapsing on top of one another. And it's in this now moment. Yeah.
No, it's absolutely that. I think that has been the theory the whole time. It's just, for some reason, people are starting to comprehend it much better and starting to see it. Because I even just had a post on that this last weekend saying that I was too wrapped up either in healing my past or visioning for the future. The power is in the present. And yet all of that was taking space up past and present. I was just like, how am I going to let any of this stuff come in?
Yeah.
I was out there or back there.
Oh, 100%. It's like one of the things that I saw was void. It's like create the void, because when we create the void, that's when all these things come in. And that's what we're doing if we're letting go of the past, because we get stuck in healing trauma, and which is beautiful, but sometimes we get too stuck in the past or even past lives. And then when we're envisioning for ourselves, and it's just about that living and being right now. And I think that that's truly when we trust our intuition. Like, how does our body feel right now? What do we feel in our gut right now? What are we hearing? What are we seeing? What are we experiencing? And trusting that everything that we're experiencing right now and every opportunity that is around us is part of the path. And we get too caught up in decision making. Should I do this? Should I do that? And just allowing ourselves to be in the flow.
Yeah. Well, Whitney, could you share with us what the 12-week program is for the Intuition Abundance Academy? Because maybe some people would love to hear about how they could participate in this.
Sure. So we launch Intuition Abundance Academy once a year, but we also have a program. So whenever you're listening to this, you can join in as part of that too. But I like to take people through 6 weeks of really understanding their intuitive language. We were born with this intuitive language. And what happens is we forget or we don't develop it. So I help people remember what their intuitive language really is and how to access their spirit guides more fully, because our spirit guides are our navigators and our intuition's our compass. So our spirit guides can say, turn left up here, turn right up here. And our intuition needs to be open so that we can actually receive those messages coming in. And then we talk about life purpose, and we all have different life purpose archetypes. We've got 7 different archetypes. And sometimes we just spend too much time trying to figure out our purpose. Like, I've got to find it, like it's something to be found, when it's really within us and it's in our energy. So we talk about the energy imprint that you have. We all have different ones. So then we work with our spirit guides and we understand our life purpose. And then we remove our abundance blocks too. We are saying, there's so much where we say, I can't do this because, or I'm not able to do this because of this, or I got to make some changes in order to feel like I'm going to be fully living in purpose. And so we talk about that and hold space for that to really help you live the most abundant life possible. And that's what Intuition Abundance Academy is all about. And I really enjoy helping people who want to transform and let go of their old stories, like we were just talking about, so that they can truly be in the present and shine their light brighter and have more aligned opportunities coming in. I think that's important with our vibration, to really live in the vibration of who we are and not in the vibration of what people think that we should be, or allowing ourselves to really shine so that we are in a place to have more opportunities that are aligned with us. So it's a really nice program that I love opening up for people.
And is it a rolling program so they can come in at any time, or is it like, oh, you'll have like launch dates for them?
Yeah, so we've got launch dates for Intuition Abundance Academy, but you can take the first 6 weeks with me anytime. So if you're really wanting to understand your intuition and connect to your spirit guides more fully, this is an enrolling program that you can do. And so it's messengerspirit.com/yes for the rolling program. And then when Intuition Abundance Academy comes around, you can upgrade for a discount. So we can really go further and deeper with blocks and life purpose.
No, that's really neat. You know why? Because every time I talk about, well, this is more of my close circle of family and then friends. But when I talk about my guides, they're like, I want to connect with my spirit guides. And I'm all like, perfect. Now I have someone, everyone,
Awesome.
family and friends. If you have told me you want to connect with your guides, Whitney is going to be the person that is going to help you to do that. And it's so true though. The first part of it is truly connecting with your intuition, because it was a process for me, because you're going to have to go through, is that my intuition or is that my ego or my conscious mind telling me that? And there's a difference. I mean,
there's learning your language and then creating consistency every day so that you create space in your calendar to talk to your guides. And the more that you do that, it's this energetic imprint is what I'll call it. It's this frequency where you can feel the difference between this is intuitive and this is my thought, or see the difference or hear it or know it. And the more that we develop this ability, and I usually say the intuitive muscle, the easier it is to receive and trust and get validation and really get, oh, no problem. This is something I've had through all my life. I'm just now actually developing it. We learn languages in school, but I wish we would teach intuition as part of the language that we learn in school so that we didn't have to do all this over again. But yes, intuition's the first piece, because this is this beautiful, I think the most important asset we were born with. And we just need to access it. Sometimes we shove it in a box and we're just opening the lid.
Right. That's so true. Are you able to share what the archetypes are that you, or is that something that you only share inside your container?
Oh no, I definitely talk about it. And I've got a free guide that I can give you the link for too.
Oh, that's perfect. Yes.
Yeah. So we've got 7 life purpose archetypes. And I learned this through doing readings. So I started my business years ago doing readings for others. And one of the main questions, what am I here to do? What is my purpose? And Spirit would give messages. And after years of kind of hearing some of the same repeating things, different for each person, I started to understand this is their energetic imprint. We're all born with this energy. And we can have it's usually 3 main ones, but one is the primary. So one of the archetypes is the creator. So the creator archetype, for instance, they love to create. They feel inspired when they do this. And then the life path that people have can look different based on their archetype. So let's say if you're a creator, you may feel most inspired and excited, and your natural abilities and talents could be art, or it could be cooking. It could be marketing, because marketing's creative too. So it's more of that life purpose archetype of I'm a creator. There's the healer. So under healing, you could be a doctor, you could be a veterinarian, you could be an energy healer, you could be a Reiki specialist. There's so many things under the healer. There's the teacher guide. And so the teacher can be someone who is literally teaching, or it could be someone on earth who perhaps is disabled. And so they're here to help people learn more about how to be more compassionate. So there's so many different, let's say, professions under the archetypes. We also have the protector archetype of people who really feel that they are up for a cause, or they're really wanting to protect people quite literally. There's a humanitarian. So the humanitarian usually loves to help the world and really understand how we can do this on a global basis. And there's the entertainer. The entertainer loves to entertain. Could be actors, or it could be people that just love to help others feel emotion. And then we have the helper archetype too. The helper archetypes, usually caregivers, people that really want to just truly help other people. Could be people in the hospitality industry. So we don't necessarily say that the life purpose is the profession. That's more of like a path, is what I call it. The archetype is more, you have innate abilities, you were born with these abilities, and let's connect into it, because we spend so much time saying, what am I going to do? Or, what's the best, most logical step to do? When really it's, what were you born with? How can you expand that archetype? And when you fully step into it, that's going to bring you joy. It's going to feel really good. And we can go through many, like I have 3 main ones, and I've gone through each one, and it took me to go through each one to really find and say, this is what I love. So sometimes we spend a little time in each archetype that we have.
No, that's beautiful. Now, did you say that it was channeled or downloaded through your work with doing
Spirit?
spirit? Yeah.
Absolutely. It was this understanding after years where I would see spirit give answers, such as, all right, you're a teacher, but you also like to combine both of them with healing. And, you've got this creator aspect too. And I would explain it, and people go, oh my gosh, that's totally what I like to do. Okay. Well, I thought about that, but I thought that I don't know how I'm going to make money with that. And then we kind of have to go into that aspect of it as well. So it's just a beautiful understanding of what spirit shared with me. And I loved seeing the validation personally, because people will go, oh, yes, I get that. And
Right.
it's really like everyone's own unique recipe.
Well, that's the thing though, and this is a perfect example to the audience. Once you're tapped in, I mean, your guides are really there to tell you which direction to go, to help out. That's why these are like gifts, and we all possess them. That's why I think, thank God for Whitney, because now she's created this program and like easy to participate in, or at least maneuver through it, where you don't, because it can feel really daunting sometimes. I have another lady that's part of this season. What she is because she's a former attorney. What she's done was she now specializes in helping light workers and healers, what do you call it? She goes, hers is aligned to ignite. So she helps them with that part of figuring out, like they know what they want to do, but now they need the processes and the systems. And when you're very sensitive, like an intuitive, there are going to be times that these things are very overwhelming. You're just going to really need that guidance.
100%. And we get bombarded with all the things, and then we get stuck in that decision of, what do I do and how do I do it? And it's, hey, it doesn't have to be as hard as we think it does.
Yeah.
We can just really allow for spirit to come through and guide us. And, even how I plan my day is, when I get up, I'll have like all these things to do in my project management software. And I just talk to my guides and I say, what are the three biggest things that I need to focus on today? And I will move stuff around like, all right, even though I had these videos I was going to record today, that's going to go over on Friday. And these are the three things that I need to do. And when we treat our purpose this way, when we treat our business this way and our life this way, so many more things can open up because they are creators themselves. They have things in store for us that we don't know. So even if we have our schedule, we need to create space for spirit to schedule some things in for us. Just like you were talking about. It's like, if you're thinking about the future and the past, how are these things going to come in?
How is everything else going to come in?
Yeah. It's like creating space literally in your day for spirit to surprise you. So if we can do that, that's great. It's like, I'm going to leave at least some time for spirit to help me to feel inspired to do something that's not on my schedule today.
Absolutely. That's 100%, because I'm all like, my biggest thing I think that they would have, and I know that they laugh at me all the time. I was like, you have this big mission and vision for me, but yet you don't want to tell me how. And they're like, because you're never allowing the space. Not that they tell you how. It's those people that they'll drop into your life. It's the opportunities that they can. But if you're sitting there constantly in a vibration of like, how, what, like, that in and of itself is a vibration in a space that we need to move out of. We just need to be like that blank canvas that you.
Oh yeah. 100%. That's like the void, the place where I can truly receive. Because if we're somebody that is going all the time, we're just not going to receive. We actually have to dedicate time to receive. And one of the tricks that's helped me is to say, when I am allowing myself to receive, or when I'm allowing myself to take time off, this is valuable. It's just as valuable as taking action, because this is when you receive your aha moments and your boom. Sometimes we feel guilty of, I'm going to take vacation, or I'm going to take a bunch of time off, or I'm going to splurge and, spend on this hotel that's more expensive than I thought. Whatever the stories that we tell ourselves, that's really valuable. When we do this and we feel inspired to do it, we are basically saying, I'm taking time to receive, getting messages from my guides. And then usually that's when this big inspiration hits, the big downloads come in, or it's like this boom message comes in for me too. So if we can do that every day, that would be awesome. But sometimes we want to do that longer too.
No, yeah. I mean, we are living absolutely in some very interesting times. However, all of this, so wherever you are on your journey, just hang in there. You have this podcast as a resource, and now you have Whitney McNeill. Now,
well, thank you.
You're very welcome. Now, Whitney, I think you did mention it already, but could you mention it one more time for people so they can either write this down, it'll be in the show notes, but if they were interested in your services or how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to learn about really connecting into your intuitive language and your spirit guides, you can go to messengerofspirit.com/yes. And that's my 6-week program that you can really start to understand and open up with your spirit guides. I think that's the foundational piece. And then the freebie for the life purpose archetypes is messengerspirit.com/life purpose. And you can download this PDF guide going through all the archetypes and really starting to connect more with that.
I would encourage the audience, if you can, it would be the archetypes that she did mention are really, it's definitely, you're going to fall into one of that. And Whitney would know because she's done 10,000, she's connected 10,000 people. So she's like, okay, I've condensed it down. But I mean, from the conversations and from me and her connecting, she's definitely tapped in and here to help. And that's why, she's here, a part of season 5D, so we can be that resource to all of you guys. So Whitney, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being a part of season 5D. You're always welcome to come back on here if you have more messaging or something to share with the audience.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to. And thank you so much for having me. And your mission is really beautiful, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Oh, thank you so much. And to the audience, thank you for tuning into this week's episode with Whitney McNeill. We will catch you on the next episode of 8 Billion Podcast. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the 8 Billion Podcast. If it's moved you in any way, please share your thoughts or give us a review on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. To listen to more episodes, go to 8billionpodcast.com, or to learn more about our mission, go to 8billionproject.com.